Sound good?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. We're good on sound. Absolutely. And I believe we're live. That is correct. I just got the notification. Everyone, how is it going? My name is Corey, and this is Red Pill Smash Bros. Episode 5. Today we're going to be talking about MGTOW, Monk Mode, and Incel. John Fitch is in the house as usual. John, what's up, dude? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
Give us a little
My
intro.
parents get into town today,
Yeah.
so we'll be having some kitty grandparent time. I got stuff kind of loosely planned, but my mom always ends up kicking me out.
So she can like clean up the house and reorganize or something?
No, so she can like spend time with the kids without me
Oh,
around.
shit.
Like,
Yeah, that's cool.
grandparents want to soak up some extra time, so
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, let's all go do this. She's like, no, we'll go. You go over there. You go. You leave.
Yeah. That's epic.
Like, all right, okay, cool.
So what are you going to go do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I can get a date or so.
Hell yeah.
Date or two, maybe.
Dude, and if you got to go on a date with yourself, there's nothing better, in my opinion, than...
Yeah, Rambo is out.
Oh, shit.
Rambo's
I've
out.
heard good things. I've heard good things so far.
I'm sorry. Is my camera fuzzy?
It's a little fuzzy, but
It's a little fuzzy.
I think it's...
It's weird.
Yeah, I think we're working. I think we're cooking, bro.
It wasn't
I'm
that
all right with
fuzzy the other day. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. It's a little fuzzy.
It
It's
could
not
be
supposed to that
internet
fuzzy.
connection, or it could be, what's it called?
Yeah.
You could just up the resolution on it. I had to do that. Is it the same camera that I have? The one that I showed you?
I don't know. It's a Logitech. But it was really clear yesterday when I used it. But
Enigmatic
yeah.
Elephant saying you could tilt your camera to the left a little bit. Let me take a gander.
To my left, this way.
Yep, it looks like that's working.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's good for right now. Bueno.
Okay.
And John and I kind of got a little bit of matching T-shirt going on. He's got a little bit of a lighter blue on.
Well, it's a gray. It's gray.
Oh, it's gray.
It's gray. But
Yeah,
yeah,
all right. Well, I'm blue.
I like the grays that
All right,
play
I'm happy with that.
I like the grays that play the almost blue turquoise look.
Yeah,
It's good.
pulls out
Yeah.
the eyes a little bit.
Simple guys. Like I have talks with people all the time. Guys trying to look good. Simple freaking $20 pack, 3-pack of V-necks. You've upped your game already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, line up the
Simple
beard a little
change.
bit. No more neck beard. Man,
Yep.
if there's any one thing that signifies you as just an unkempt beta, it's a fucking neck beard. I can't stand it. Like, clean your shit up. Line it up, dude. Come on. Like, let's go. It doesn't look appetizing. You think a girl wants to be nibbling on that shit, dude, when it looks like you got pubes coming off your fucking neck? John's like, yeah, whatever, bro. All right, guys. Hey, all right. Welcome to our 5th episode. Today we're going to be talking about MGTOW, Monk Mode, and Incels. And the big thing is, obviously, I don't know if you guys are following anything within the red pill sphere. Twitter's going fucking ham. YouTube's going kind of crazy. Everyone in the MGTOW community is kind of fighting and going back and forth with the red pill community. The PUAs are coming after red pill because red pill is going after PUAs, all this other shit. We're just going to chat about that a little bit. So first off, let's start off just talking about MGTOW. All right. So John, MGTOW. Have you ever identified as MGTOW? Would you ever identify as MGTOW? And what's
No.
your understanding of what MGTOW is?
So like I don't agree. I don't identify with anything. I'm me, right? So like I identify with my frame or what I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the whole lumping in with groups, right?
Yeah.
Even with Republican, Democrat, left wing, right wing. I'm just a ball of my own ideas. I don't want to group in with any group necessarily.
Right.
But I've noticed a lot of the MGTOW tend to be like they've given up. They're they're big on video game playing from my understanding, and they're just they're saying that they're going their own way from women, but it looks as if they're giving up altogether on the sexual market sometimes. Now I could be wrong. This just could be my perception from the far outside because I haven't spent a lot of time in this space.
Sure.
And I tend not to spend time in the negatives. Like
Right. Yeah.
If people have good things to say, I'll listen. But if it's a negative or bad idea, I turn away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're bitching and moaning about, and whining about something, complaining about something, without actually putting forth anything that's actionable, any actionable advice towards moving forward, that's a problem. I'm all about focusing on yourself, focusing on being the best version of yourself as possible. And a lot of things will take care of itself if you focus on that. If you just focus on leveling up all the time, you make yourself and your life your own video game, your real life video game. You will focus on leveling up in that. A lot of these other things kind of fade away and will take care of itself. If you are a cool person living a cool life, you will become a magnetic personality and people will find their way to you.
Absolutely. So I have to openly admit, on my Instagram and I think maybe even my Twitter last year, when I first heard about MGTOW, I was like, awesome. And I threw that in my, what the fuck do they call it? Like your tagline or whatever, right? I threw MGTOW in there. And I did that in order to just become a shit poster. So I put that in there as a means to get people to look at that identity and be like, all right, either I'm going to identify with that guy and see what he has to say, and the biggest thing was I actually got a lot more pushback, which is what my intention was. So everything I usually do online is in order to, I don't want to say get a reaction, but instead start a conversation.
Engagement. Yeah.
Exactly. I am a philosopher by nature. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't care. I believe in rational
That's
discourse.
one of those things. That's one of those things that people put out there to make you feel bad for thinking that way.
What's that?
Being a philosopher, why would there be a negative connotation surrounded by somebody who thinks about things deeply?
Well, sure. I mean,
I think that's a socialized thing. People
I
don't want you
agree.
to think so. What a dork.
Well,
He's a
it's
philosopher.
exactly. Well, it's not just that. It's just not popular. It's just not a
Yeah.
popular thing, right? But I think, and I mean,
At different
being
times in our history, it was popular.
for sure, and it was necessary, and it
Yeah.
was like the foundation of a society. So that's what I do is I try to start conversation and learn. Like I enter into a conversation with my mind open enough. It's not, hey, I'm going to bully and beat you down. It's, I know going into this that I'm going to say some things that are going to open your mind up to certain things, and then you're going to say some things that are going to fine tune and tweak what I've already established in my mind, right? If it's complete garbage, all right, yeah, I throw it all away, but I don't do that right then in that moment. I do it afterwards when I'm looking back on the conversation and I'm saying, and I'm analyzing it. All right, did I learn and take away anything that was impactful? Because if it's impactful, it's going to sit in the front of my mind and I'm going to continue to chew on that information. You know what I mean? So that's what I did when I identified as MGTOW. And the cool thing is this, like, there are some dudes in the community that are awesome, really, that get it, that understand women, that understand female nature. And I would even say during that time frame, I was going through my red pill rage, I guess, phase, right? I don't know if you've gone through that at all. But that red pill rage is definitely a real thing. Good thing it was only like a 6-month period. But the thing that I do identify with MGTOW is, and this is essentially where we're all trying to go. This is what the show is really about. And John, you hit the nail on the head when you were talking. It's make yourself the hero of your fucking video game. Like I am a through and through believer in that. Like, be your own fucking hero. You are number one. When you wake up, it is your fucking purpose. It is your drive. It is what you want to do in life. Now, obviously, we do live in a society. You have to follow some sets of rules. But the problem is, especially being in an uninitiated society that we live in, men aren't initiated into manhood anymore. We still have this crazy attachment to the feminine, thinking that the feminine is something to be worshipped. And what Red Pill, what MGTOW, what PUAs have all learned in their understanding of female nature and like sexual dynamics and intersexual dynamics is that mindset is what gets you in trouble. Anytime you have women in your mindset as the prize to be attained, and the thing to be cherished and worshipped, that's when you lose. That's when you lose yourself. That's when you lose all these things in life. And, there are still people in the MGTOW community that are haters of women that still have women pedestalized to that degree. But they just hate that aspect. They hate that aspect, right?
They hate the game.
They hate the game. You're absolutely right.
Instead of learning how to play it, they hate the game.
Facts.
And I could even argue that the worship of women isn't even necessarily the negative thing. The way it's done, because you could look at it from a pulled back perspective of you being the best version of you is a way of worshiping the woman, because you being the best version of you encourages pair bonding and procreation, which encourages life and children, which ultimately is the thing to be worshipped, is life. That's what we're here for, to survive and reproduce.
Well, then I would argue with you there, because then you're not putting the woman as the prize, you're putting life as the prize. Right? So still, you're not worshiping her, you're worshiping something greater than a woman. Whereas these guys, right? And I mean, this is something that we've been pushed to believe through our conditioning, is that women are the prize. Women are the prize.
It's been warped.
Yes, exactly.
They're the piece of the puzzle that brings you to the prize.
Right. And this is where MGTOW does have it right, though. They have every right in the world to be upset about that mindset. The problem that it comes down to, though, is the practice that they take.
What changes are you going to make?
Right. And
that knowledge, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly. Before, Enigmatic Elephant brings it up. He's like, MGTOW was sabotaged by dudes who actually have hate for women. When it initially started, it was just bachelor dudes in their 30s and 40s, mostly, just having conversations about this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I would even argue that MGTOW is exactly like how feminism first started. Feminism first started probably with these people that were enlightened to certain things. We're like, hey, I'm just going to make my life better, and I'm going to talk to other people of like mind and try to help them out. And then all of a sudden it just brings in the dredges, right? These people that are like, because this is something we got to talk about too. You brought it up. We are instinctually tribal.
Yep.
Especially when you feel
survival
like,
instinct,
absolutely.
Life is fucking hard. You better have a team.
So exactly. So I will tell you this: when I got out of the military, I was not prepared to experience what I experienced, as far as feeling as vulnerable as I felt. So I got out of the military, and right when I got out of the military, I opened my business. Like, I opened my business 2 months before I got out of the military. So I was like, oh, I'm perfect. I'm set. I got my fucking people. I got all this stuff. I got money. I got all this stuff, right? But the problem is, and this is what you don't realize, is that when you're in the military, you are very close with a small group of people in your unit. And everyone in that unit has their own specific jobs. And the way that we're trained, believe it or not, and this is why, Simon Sinek does this really amazing talk. He talks about the speciality of Marines. Why are Marines the best fighters in the world? So they say, en masse on that kind of scale. And it's because what we're conditioned to believe is not as an individual. We're actually out there in order to better the person to the right and the left of us. And this is very true. That's what got me through wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's what got me through my time frame, is I was willing to sacrifice myself for the guy to the right and left of me. And the thing about that mindset is you end up creating a chain, right? And what I actually like to call it is a 360. Because I don't know about you, I'm not an owl. I can't see all the way around me, right? And you got to look at life as a sphere instead of just a 360. We have so many things in our life that we have to take care of as a human being in the modern world that you subconsciously don't realize that you're constantly analyzing your perimeters. Constantly. Okay? And this is what leads to anxiety in today's world. So if you are the only person in your life focusing on all the aspects... What's that?
Too much stimuli.
Exactly. And the thing is, when you have a group of people, when you have someone to the right and left of you, they're able to start watching certain sectors of your life, especially your fucking six is what we call it, right? And you're able to sit there at night and you're able to and calm down and finally feel at peace and at ease of like, all right, cool. I know while I'm sleeping, I got this brother that I can trust who's watching my six. I got somebody on the wall who's guarding the post. You know what I'm saying? That's why tribalism, that's why men seek out brotherhood and being a part of the tribe mostly, is because that's the ability for him to not have to be the only person to take care of stuff. So I get why people cling so quickly to wanting to have this identity, like what we were talking about. You and I, John, we're a bit older. We've gone through a lot of stuff in life. Like, you enter that cage by yourself. So you've been trained.
Mm-hmm.
You've been trained from the get-go of like, I'm by myself. I'm a lone man. I'm like a lone army. I'm going into this shit.
Just a history of team sports and individual sports throughout my life have all kind of taught me that. Because even in a team sport, you start realizing that people let you down. People don't show up for their job. People just weren't there, especially, high school football, I played middle linebacker. I ran the defense. Right. So the defensive backs, they did their own thing, but I ran all the linemen and the linebackers and the ends and those guys. So you'd give assignments to people to do different things, and guys just wouldn't show up for the play. You're like, you just had to fill the hole. You just had to sit here. Like, all you had to do was not be moved.
Right. Just show up and do that one thing.
You found on the ground where you laid, right there, you would have done a better job than what you did. Like, so you start realizing that you can't necessarily always rely on other people.
Right.
So you have to start relying on yourself more, not being attached to the outcome of everybody doing things correctly. You just have to do the best for you. And that's one of those skills that they don't really teach you in school, as to how to pick your tribe, how to kind of be selective about who you put into positions, because sometimes you just you can make the mistake of just putting your friend in a position because he's your friend,
right?
Not because he's the most competent person. And if you're running a business or you're doing something important, you're probably going to want to lean on the most competent person and not just your friend.
Right. I definitely made that mistake in business before too, and I got screwed. This kid stole, because he was friends with me, he stole money from me. You know what I mean? And it fucking led to the demise of, it wasn't the only thing, but.
And that's like a super negative. Like, I've had just the experience of people just kind of being lazy and they're not really driven to do it. So they do just enough where they're not that skilled. Like, they came to you and they offered to do it for free, and it's free and somebody's doing it, but it's not doing it at a high level where it would have paid somebody. It would have been a way better, and you would have got more return out of it.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I do want to point out, though, with MGTOW again, is there's one aspect of MGTOW that I really do enjoy. The acronym stands for Men Going Their Own Way, but I've heard it also phrased as men guarding their own wallet. And this is something especially, too, because when men are conditioned in this kind of blue pill beta mindset, they understand that. So their belief system is sex is transactional, right? So I'm going to give certain things and then I'm going to receive. And I don't know if you guys have ever read No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Glover. Coming from that nice guy syndrome mindset, everything is a covert contract, right? And I know when I was a blue pill individual, I used to believe that way. Like, I am kind of keeping track of all this stuff that I've done, so therefore I'm also expecting these things in return. And that was in all my relationships, right? Men are, and don't get me wrong, like, I still truly believe this. Like, I really do still understand and believe in the traditional roles of the genders, right? Men are providers and protectors. But the problem is that when your value solely relies on what you have in that wallet or what possessions you have, that is already a lost game. And that's why I like that mindset of MGTOW, though, is for men that aren't trained, like, MGTOW should be the first kind of phase that you work yourself into. And then you work your way into red pill. And then you work yourself into, like, a full-blown individualistic, boom, all right, I am set. I'm on my own. I can kind of survive. And I also know that I can tap into these pools of resources of knowledge to kind of help me guide my way. Everything's kind of evolving, right? You shouldn't be MGTOW for your whole life, and you shouldn't be sitting there like identifying as red pill and stuck in this stuff over and over and over. It's stages of school, right? You're leveling up, like what you talked about.
They're groups of thought or ideology. I wouldn't jump into it and say I identify as this person. Like,
For sure.
there's different philosophers that you could look into: Nietzsche, Jung, Freud, all these types of guys. You could pick at their different philosophies on how to do things, but not necessarily identify with it. You don't have to become it. That was a big thing. I didn't listen to 90s rap music until late 2000s because I couldn't understand why suburban white kids around me would just identify and adapt this lifestyle out of nowhere. Like rich white kids would start being hardcore gangsters because of music. I was like, you can listen to music and appreciate it without becoming the people singing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw that back then. For me, that was the first time of like just somebody completely switching their identity around to fit something else.
Yeah. Dude, I see that all the time too. I go and I do a lot of spiritual retreats and invest into entheogenic medicines and stuff like that, right? So this stuff is like super spiritual, like for anyone who does, like. But the problem that you run into, so like even after I did ayahuasca, I came back and I was like this enlightened being, and I was like, oh, well now I have to be this way. And now notice how I just changed my voice. This is how people do it. Oh, hey, how? And then and like I'm a yogi and I'm vegan and I believe, exactly, dude.
The upspeak.
I wear white all the time, and I wear these prayer beads, and I am just. You guys got to know that my identity is I am a spiritual being, right? And it's like fuck that shit, dude. Like. I learned what I needed to learn from that source, but I am still fucking me. Like the biggest problem that I see is that people are just so afraid to be themselves. Like step into your fucking power, like learn who you are, right? And this is why I meditate.
So
I meditate daily.
Float around and adapt to different personality types and the new thing, the new thing.
You're never going to be happy that way. It's just like, dude, the reason why I meditate is because I have a conversation with myself every single day, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like to do. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to be. That like this is how I fucking mold myself to who I am based off of my experiences and what my reactions are to them. Right? I don't sit there and say, man, I want to be more, I want to buy into this identity and I want to wear these clothes because of this. It's more so of like, I like this because I fucking like it. I do this because I want to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some of those guys in the spiritual thing are betas trying to get some side boob action.
Everything we do, this is what people don't understand. Everything we do is based off of the sexual market. We're just trying to we're trying to fine tune who we are to amplify our sexual market value in that one area that we're like Russell Brand, for instance. I love Russell Brand. I think he's a fucking awesome dude, but he's a fucking skinny twig with a small penis. So how the fuck is he gonna fucking get chicks? Right? He's gonna play like Mr. fucking monk bodhisattva kind of dude. Sit in fucking lotus position and hang around all those girls. Good for him. Not to knock him for the size of his cock or anything like that, too.
He's trying to avoid the drug-fueled crazy shit he was doing before.
True. I agree. I get it.
He's got to go full spiritual to avoid,
but do you have
drugs
to?
And
the thing is, though, do you have to?
Well, certain personality types are addictive.
Oh, listen, I agree.
So I think he's one of those guys that's probably he's got to switch from one thing to the next. And like meditating is his new addiction.
Right. Well, I'm in the same boat. Like I just admitted, I meditate daily, but you're not going to see me walk around in fucking fluffy fucking yoga pants and flip-flops all the time and grow my hair out. Right? I can still be a fucking alpha boss, not drink and do drugs, right? Avoid fucking bad situations, meditate and all this other stuff, but still be a fucking Chad. You know what I mean? Because I got it all balanced. Like you can still have sex with women too and be an alpha in that department and not like as long as you are in control of you, it's okay. Right? And that's the problem with a lot of these guys. You know, most of these people, and this is the next direction I want to get into, is, you know, with MGTOW and with monk mode people. So let's talk about monk mode as well. And actually, I just want to make one small fucking point.
Monk
too
mode is, I think monk mode
ahead.
is much more up and believing in monk mode.
What's that?
Monk mode over MGTOW.
Uh-huh. You believe more in that?
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at with all of this stuff. As we just talked about, everything we do is part of a sexual strategy. Most of these people that are fucking quitting and leaving and being upset is because they realize that they don't have stake in the game, right? They hate the game because they can't play it, right? So it's like, oh, I'm fucking out. I'm leaving. This sucks. But the thing is, what people are failing to do, and I'm like, again, I am not knocking Russell Brand. He's maximizing his sexual market, I guess, market space, right? His identity, his fucking brand. He is marketing that to the nth degree for him to have the best viable options for money, status, and women, right? And that's all we're trying to do. That's all men are trying to do in general. But you run across a group of people that are like, fuck, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I've got some fucking genetic disorder, I got these issues or whatever, and I'm never going to have a chance with the 10s. I'm never going to have a chance with the 10s. So fuck the game, fuck all this stuff, I fucking quit, right? And the problem is, especially when it comes to MGTOW and monk mode, it's just, so I'm a hunter, right? I like going out, and I like the idea of getting my own meat that was out there in the environment. You know, I just believe in all of that. I like that. That's my thing. I am a hunter. That's just my behavior. That's what I like to do. But if someone were to sit there and say, Corey, why are you going to go out hunting? There's rattlesnakes all over the canyons here, and there's these bugs that could bite you and they could sting you, and then you're going to be away from all these people, so you're not going to have any safety, like if you get stung in the venom and, you know, mountain lions and all this other stuff. Like, you shouldn't fucking hunt. That's fucking stupid, right? That's stupid. Like, you might not even get anything that day. You might spend hours doing all this stuff and you're not going to get the return. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, nature is stacked against you. Okay, right? Like, I would much rather fucking be a hunter and do the things and try to win in that environment and surpass all this other stuff, right? Than sit there and focus on the fucking negative things that could happen to me. Because the question is, sitting on the sidelines and not getting out there and doing it, how is that going to evolve your life? How is that going to better your life? Like, what is that going to do to make yourself better in life if you just sit there and focus on all the negative things that can happen to you?
Just play video games and watch porn. They don't have to deal with it. They can check out.
Right.
But you can order fast food instead of hunting.
Uh-huh.
You can watch porn instead of talking to girls. And they can play video games and beat video games instead of actually competing and winning at things. It's just replacing life with bullshit.
Agreed. So when it comes to monk mode, here's the thing: is if you're MGTOW and you're sworn off women, right? Or that's kind of the deal, and then you also say, "Oh, I'm going monk mode to focus on my life." That's bullshit. I run a men's group here in San Diego. I have this one kid who's probably slept with maybe like 2 or 3 women his entire life. He's terrible with women. Raised Catholic, all this other crazy stuff. Has a lot of guilt and shame about promiscuous sex and all this crap. And you know, he started going out there and talking to more women, and he got some numbers and all this other stuff, but wouldn't progress it past, you know, just talking because he's scared of something. Either way, he walks into the meeting one day and he's like, "Oh, I'm going monk mode." And I'm like, "What? Like, why?" He's like, "Oh, I just feel like I really need to just start focusing on making more money and really getting my business or all my other stuff taken care of." And it's like, dude, like, you're not choosing to go monk mode. You're choosing to opt out, right?
Yeah.
Monk mode is
not
reserved. Yeah. Monk mode is reserved for a guy that has options. All right. Yeah. So here's the thing. And this is something we have to understand. You can't just use these titles to fit your insecurities.
Like being an incel versus being in monk mode. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Two different things.
I'm hitting the monk
things.
mode button, but I'm really an incel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dude, you're
no.
fucking full of shit. You're lying to yourself. Like,
You can't fire me, I quit.
yeah, exactly, right? So what it comes down to is this. And my biggest takeaway for that, and my biggest thing to him is, dude, you are running away from the exact opportunity that you need to be taking in order for you to grow. Right? If you're bad with women, what should you be doing?
Yeah, that should be your.
Instead of focusing on your
going
fucking
to monk mode, talking to girls. That can be a monk mode. Excuse me.
Go ahead. Yeah, buddy. Dude, I would even argue that though. So here's the thing. All right. I'm not using this statistic to brag, right? But I've slept with over 200 women. If you really look at it, so I've also been in sales, and if people don't understand sales, usually, especially with like cold calls and stuff like that, it usually takes you about 100 phone calls to get 5 people on the fucking line in order to get 2 fucking deals, right? That's usually the equation that it works out to be. If you're really good, obviously, you know, it starts to go down. But when you first start off, that's like your fucking numbers. Like, you want to be making 100 calls a day in order to fucking possibly get 2 fucking deals, right? That's how it has to be. So if you take into consideration the numbers I just put out there, how many conversations, how many connections would I have had to make in order for me to get there? Well, we're probably talking in terms of like 20,000 women, okay, having these conversations with and going through this whole rigmarole, focusing on fine-tuning all my stuff. Do you think I've learned something about female nature and have been able to correlate certain things from all of that? And the simple answer has to be yes. The problem with people, and this is what it ties into with these MGTOW people and with the creation right now of like this super blue pill society, is men have bought into this belief system that all you have to do is go through school, go to college, get a degree, get a job, meet this one woman, and then boom, she is yours for the rest of your life. Awesome. Cool. No more competition. It's this factory fucking worker kind of like, what do they call it? That factory line kind of like, okay, cool. I can get my happiness just by going through this one small little system. And it's not working out. It's a failed fucking system. And we're seeing it happen over and over and over again. Why? Because it goes against our nature. It goes against both female nature and masculine nature, right? The thing is, men, you have to get out there and you have to talk to women. You have to. You have to get out there and you have to compete. And in order to compete, guess what? Yeah, you're going to be competing against fucking Chad Thundercock with his fucking 10-inch Mandingo dick, right? And his fucking 6-pack abs and his 6'2" frame and his fucking chiseled jawline and, you know, 6 figures and trust fund in the fucking bank account. You're going to be competing against him. Guess what? Sure. But guess what? It doesn't mean that he's going to be getting all the women and you're left with nothing. This is a fucking mindset of abundance, motherfuckers. Like, get out there. Yeah, exactly. Get out there and fucking take your stabs. Take your stabs, right? You're going to get rejected. You're going to get fucking beat down. But here's the thing. And I think John and I did talk about this before. I mentioned it before. When I go out and I run sets and cold approach, I convince myself when I go out there, I play with my mind before I go out there. I switch the objective. I don't switch the objective to, I need to go out there and get 3 or 4 numbers and I need to have every single fucking interaction go well and all this other stuff. I'm setting myself up for the impossibility, these expectations that are going to really fuck with my ego, right? So instead, what do I say? I manipulate my brain and I say, let's go get rejected. Because believe it or not, you learn a lot from rejection. It is a lesson. It is feedback. It's a way for you as a hunter, right? Let's go to that one. To take that feedback and fine-tune your skill, hone your skill. And that is something that creates growth in you. It's something that creates you to become a better version of yourself. It's not fake. It's not phony, right? It's the marketplace reacting to your product. And this is what I really want to talk to men about is this. Like, if you don't look at yourself as your own business, you're fucked. Everyone is a business. Everyone is a brand. You as a single identity are a brand. And you have to compete in the marketplace. You have to, right? You could choose to opt out and sit on the sidelines, but what level of happiness is that going to get you, right? And this is kind of where it comes down to is like when you're choosing to identify with these labels of MGTOW and monk mode, are you just fucking quitting? What are your thoughts, John?
Yes. Yeah. MGTOW. I just am not. I'm not. I think it has a lot of negative connotations to it.
Sure.
So, there's a lot of people who don't want to identify with it. I wouldn't necessarily want to identify with it. I'm more forward progress thinking, and MGTOW's too much. Ooh, girls are gross and mean and nasty. Let's stay away from them. And I'd rather just utilize strategies and techniques that mitigate their craziness. And there's nothing wrong with how women are. It's just they don't match up to what we were taught they were supposed to be.
Yeah, it's
So we
just
just have to,
managing expectations again.
yeah. So we just have to realign, go back to what behaviors they're actually exhibiting rather than what we think they're supposed to be exhibiting,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be a lot better off. The monk mode to me is discipline, right? There's a lot of ways to do monk mode. It doesn't mean you just have to be isolated from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I spent about 3 years in monk mode. And my monk mode was I got up and went to jujitsu at 10:30. Um, I do jiu-jitsu for an hour. I had about 10 minutes to take my stuff off, wrap up. I'd hit mitts for about 15, 25 minutes with a coach. And then we had our team training started. And that was 2 hours. And then I would go home, eat, rest, and then come back for more jiu-jitsu and other stuff at night. And then I had, work 2 4 nights a week for 5 hours. And I just stuck to that schedule and I never veered outside of that schedule. And when I went to the bar, I was working, but I had a chance to talk to girls. So even though I was in monk mode, I could still talk to girls.
Mm-hmm.
I never let the girls break my frame of that monk mode of like, no, this is what I'm doing. If you have an hour after work to hang out, okay. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to come over at this time on the weekend where I have downtime, yeah, that's okay. So like they could fit into my schedule, my disciplined frame from time to time. That was fine, but like I was in monk mode. Like this is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to work around my work, that's okay. You can come by. And I had stragglers in and out who'd come by for a while until I finally had a girlfriend who was fine with my monk mode. And I was in that monk mode for years, and
Right.
she would just come by, you know, in between when my rest times were. And I think there's a lot of ways to do that monk mode. To me, that was still monk mode, even though at a certain point I had a girlfriend, or at a certain point I was seeing girls, but I was locked in on my time. I wasn't like taking time off or skipping a workout or not sticking to my schedule because there were girls around. They were accessories to whatever I was doing.
Absolutely. So this is exactly, dude, a fucking perfect transition, because that's the direction I was just about to take this. So monk mode is when you have the options to be able to have copious amounts of sex, right? Or you have options of numerous women, or I mean, shit, even just let's say one woman, right? Mm-hmm. When you have the option of her being able to be your center focus, or women in general being able to be your center focus, and you instead opt and say, you know what? My purpose, my design of my life, my dreams, my goals, me ends up taking the forefront, and I'm not going to be structuring my life around this kind of dance. Dude, it's so sad when I look at and see how men are structuring their lives today, when it comes to dating and it comes to their girlfriends.
Yep.
I had a best friend last year, really good friend of mine who really helped me out going through like my PTSD stuff. But the second he got married is the second he got super comfortable, and it fucking and you could tell with her too, she wanted me out, right? Because it took away, like she was shit testing him, like, hey, now that I got him married, and he bought into the whole blue pill identity, right? Now they're a fucking team. Everything he does, she has to be there. Every fucking choice he makes, she has to fucking do whatever, right? Her parents are now his best friends. That's all they do is they hang out. They go on date nights over and over. Everything that, you know what I mean? Like, and this is, I'm pointing him out as a specific thing because, that's what most guys are doing. It's, oh, I have to be with my girlfriend when I have my spare time. I have to be with, I can't go and do, I try to talk to guys all the time when I have my men's group.
That's something I've noticed that like there used to be a barrier, like old Irish nights out. Like they'd go to the bar together. The men would go to one side of the bar. The women would go to the other side of the bar. They wouldn't even talk to each other.
Right.
Like there's always been this split. Now everything's like shoved together.
This is even part of tribes.
You can't even watch sports.
No, you got to come home and you got to fucking watch goddamn Gilmore Girls and drink fucking wine with.
Well, no, the girls go to the sports event. The girls are there. Oh yeah, I want to do your fantasy sports team this year.
Oh.
I want to go. Let's have our Monday night football party. Like the girls are there too, wearing the jerseys and the. Like I kind of stopped watching football because it was too feminine.
Yeah,
they got too feminine. There's just too many girl stuff around.
I agree. In my book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, I talk about this, and I think it would probably be a pretty hot topic if people actually read the book. But I talk about, I talk about like not just separation, but segregation. Like there is natural
some decompression time.
There's natural segregation in nature. Like if you look at lions, the male lions are gone throughout the day, fucking sitting around,
around.
Yeah. The females are out doing all this other stuff.
Male chimpanzees go on patrol.
Right. Dude, and if you look at our tribal ancestors, right, when we were in tribes, the men would do that. We would go on war parties or hunting parties, and the women would forage and do all sorts of other stuff.
That was a coming of age thing for the boys, was to leave the women and go over and hang out with the men.
That was their initiation into manhood. They would go through a ritual passage, exactly, and then from that point on,
hanging out with the women. Now you come and hang out with us. Let's go.
Right, at age 12, 13 years old, your fucking umbilical cord is cut. You are going to die and you're going to become a man. And then you're going to stay here and you're going to learn what it means to be a man from us. You are no longer going back to that little sect over there. The other thing too is, I don't know if you knew this in tribes, and this isn't every tribe, but there's documentation of how men used to understand how women would get emotional during their periods. And I don't know if you've heard this statistic, but women that hang out closely together, they actually end up getting their same period cycle. So what would happen was every female in the tribe would end up getting on the same period cycle. And when that would happen, the women would be put into what they'd call like the red shed, right? They'd go into a different part of the what's it called? I don't know. They'd go to a different hut in a different part of the tribe, and they'd be separated for that entire week. And it's crazy because we don't do stuff like that in today's world, right? That was a time when women were all in their fucking emotional time frame. Women were supporting women during that time frame. Men also, and this is something that I talk about big time when it comes to healing PTSD and veterans. It takes veterans to heal veterans, but it takes men to heal men as well. And that's something that's missing in our culture today, is that men are not, one, willing to get help, and two, I mean, I shouldn't say men are, but the majority of men are not willing to, and that help is usually coming from very feminized forms.
Feminized places.
Yeah, absolutely. So men are being taught like, oh, you need to share your emotion this way. Rule number one, gentlemen, seriously, when it comes to a relationship with a woman, don't share your fucking emotions. Don't share your feelings, and don't be vulnerable in the way that you think you, what's that?
They don't want to see the work.
Right. Well, not just that.
They want to see it. They want to see the finished product. They don't ever want to see the work.
Well, it's not just that either, dude. It's that when you come home, you're supposed to be the fucking captain of the ship. If you're the captain of the ship and you guys are going through a fucking storm and you're sitting there and you're biting your nails and you're like, oh shit, I don't know if we're going to fucking make it. I don't know if we're going to make it.
Yep.
The fucking crew is going to mutiny big time because they lost faith in their fucking captain. Yeah. You need to stand at the fucking helm and you need to sit there and fucking Captain Morgan style and say fucking full steam ahead. Right? If you come up to your woman and you're like, I don't know, you show any lack of confidence and you show vulnerability in that form, she's going to be like, oh, guess what? Now I got to become the man. And that's the biggest failure in a lot of people's thing. So what does it come down to? Well, men do need to have some kind of emotional support, some kind of emotional band. And this is why sitting around the campfire at night, these men would sit around the campfire and they would open up to each other. Hey,
Tell
I'm having
stories.
I'm having these issues. I'm having this issue. Exactly. They would tell stories. They would give more archetypal types of identities of masculine, but then they would also talk about some of their little problems. Hey, I'm having this small problem in my life. And then some other guys would be like, "Oh shit, me too." And then all of a sudden they're not alone. And then they're able to talk through a situation so that when they go back to their fucking hut, they're able to be fucking king of their hut, right? They're able to be the captain of that ship instead of looking to their girlfriend or wife as that fucking person to lean on. He's now able to go into his fucking hut and be like, all right, give me some of that ass, and this is where we're fucking going, right? This is where we're taking the family. So that's where this mentorship is really fucking necessary in life, is that men need to be guiding men. And this is the biggest destruction that we've seen over the past 30, 40 years in America, is the destruction of male spaces. And it's purposely, I hate to get into all like that conspiracy bullshit, but it's purposely being done. Male spaces is a sacred space for masculinity, and it has been purposely fucking moved away. Just look at the last bastion of hope was Boy Scouts, and look what just happened. You know, if people were really looking for equality, boys would be allowed in the Girl Scouts.
One of the last bastions of hope right now is YouTube.
Well, yeah, that's
It's
the last stand.
It's a major place where men come and exchange ideas and whatever. It's already under attack, though. You know, you say the wrong things, you put the wrong things up, you're going to get demonetized. You're discouraged from posting, and you could get shut down, or you're definitely not going to get your video shared or spread around by the algorithm.
For sure. That's crazy.
Even if I put, to some of my live streams, if I have biology in the title in any way,
that's crazy.
It's like they don't even want you to talk about science.
Right. You know, the only science that you can believe in, according to the left, is global climate science. Other than that,
yes,
doesn't exist.
science or any kind of humanities science that's unreplicable.
Yeah. Insane, dude. So let's talk about that final aspect of incel. What are your thoughts on that?
The incel is the ultimate. You're one step away from incel if you're MGTOW, almost, it seems. Incel just not even trying to get laid, not even trying to self-improve. You're okay with just taking up space and rotting away and dying slowly because you're just watching porn, playing video games. You probably don't have very many real life friends. Life can be better, guys. Life can be so much better. Put down the video games, turn off the porn, go out into the sun, do some push-ups, do some squats. It doesn't cost a lot of money to be in shape. Just get away from the mentality of the incel. Yeah, the game is the game. Just figure out how to play it.
Absolutely. Shit, there's this guy on Twitter right now. Fuck, I'm trying to find him. I think his handle is like my name is John or something like that. He's this really fat kid from fucking Kansas or something. And he's posting up these videos of him working out, like really like obese. And he's fucking crushing it in the gym. He's dropped like fucking 30 pounds in the last month, dude. He is not an attractive dude whatsoever. But he made a decision, right? He made a decision. And he's being vulnerable enough. This is where vulnerability is cool, I believe, right? When you're like, hey, I'm fucking transforming. Look. And here's some fucking like backbone to it. You know what I mean? But this dude, I'm sure, was a fucking incel. I'm sure there was no way, shape, or form that he was able to fucking go and pick up girls online or anything like that. But he made a fucking choice, and he's an inspiration to people, and he's making waves on social media right now from changing his life. Like, I support him, dude. When I see guys do stuff like that, dude, I get more emotional than watching anything else, because it's like, dude, I am so fucking proud of that motherfucker for like going against every single odd in the fucking book. Right? He's exposing himself. He knows he's fat. He knows he's ugly. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, what fucking else do I
It's a
have
great
to
way to
lose? Like,
self-motivate.
what exactly? But what else does he have
Arnold
to fucking lose?
Schwarzenegger used to think his calves looked like shit, so he would wear shorts
Right.
so that his calves would hang out. So he would have to like
Go and work him out.
work out because he's like, oh man, everybody's looking at my calves.
Yeah. That's epic. So when it comes to incels, I've talked, man, I don't go on Reddit very often, but I started writing some articles and I'd post them to Reddit, and it actually, caused some interaction. And I forgot what fucking, dude, I don't know Reddit. Either way, I came across a few people in this one fucking sect of Reddit where they were obviously hating on women and dating and all this other stuff. And I'm talking to this one guy, and he's 30 years old. He's like, I'm balding. I just shaved my fucking hair off. He is a basement dweller. He's like, fuck it, I'm done. And I tried talking to him. I was like, dude, all you got to do, man, seriously, just like what you said, start doing some fucking push-ups, get to the gym, and then, start conversing with women. And I guarantee it, you're going to end up sleeping with a woman. And he's like, nah, dude. He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm good. I don't want to. Kind of deal. I was just like,
I don't want to.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm good. Well, for me personally, I just don't get that mentality. I don't get it. But it was just fucking disheartening to sit there and have a conversation with someone who is that.
Just give up. Just give up on life.
What's
the point?
Yeah, like no, and like fighting back, like actually fighting back against me of like, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, like. His mindset was already made up. Like, I am an incel. This is my identity. I have my band of brothers in the incel community.
It's easier.
Yeah, and therefore I am not going to. I'm not going to do it. Fucking nuts. So that leads me to my next point. So I have some advice for guys that are incels. John and I have been talking about this up to this point. Go fucking start working out. Like, start fucking eating right. Like, the biggest thing that you have the ability to take control over right then and there. Okay, if you're not making a lot of money, I'm not telling you to go and change your job right now. If you're living at home with mom and dad in the basement,
start taking care of yourself.
Yeah, the first thing and the best place that you're going to start seeing results is physically. That's the first thing you have 100% control over. And the crazy part too, guys, is this. The second you start working out, you're going to start to regulate your hormones, and you're actually going to start to feel better. Your reality is literally going to change, and you're going to start to feel amazing. You're going to have this love again for life, right? We're not telling you to go out and love women and put women on the pedestal, but what we are saying is make life your fucking love, right? Like, that's what you make life your purpose. Make life your dream. Every day, I don't know if you guys see this little board behind me, right? It's not really a board. It's my little studio, but I got a fucking LaFerrari right over here. I got a McLaren 720S. I got a fucking Mercedes AMG C60. Well, actually, fuck, that's the coupe. But money all over it. All sorts of other stuff, right? Because I am cultivating my life to be able to attain those things, because at the end of my day, I want to look back and see my life and say, dude, I fucking kicked the shit out of life. I don't know where I go after this. All I know is I got this one shot, right? So I'm going to kick the shit out of life, and I'm going to look back in my life and be like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. That was epic. Like, stories should be written about me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how fucking epic of a life it is. And yet we have all these guys that are sitting there, and they're just choosing not to fucking make the easiest step in their life in order to, like, enjoy it, to be happy.
I've got my patreon.com/Sean Fitch.
Ooh.
For the $1 a month tier, I've got meal plan on there. I've got lifts on there. Basic stuff, guys. Start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Just start somewhere. Just start doing something, man.
You know what's crazy?
Section off a piece of your day, 30 minutes. That's your workout time. It's your hygiene, your physical hygiene, just like brushing your teeth, washing your ass. You do some of your exercises. It's a part of your hygiene, right?
Right.
Don't brush your teeth for 8 weeks and then stop for a month and then start up again. Fucking do a little bit every day. Just be better, be healthier. Start somewhere.
It's insane too. Because what it's going to lead to is this thing called confidence. And that's what a lot of these guys are lacking, is they're lacking any form of confidence.
Confidence, and then you build momentum.
Right.
When you win, it's easier to win. Like the whole Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life book, he talks about the lobsters,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the lobsters who win fights are more likely to win fights, and the lobsters that lose fights are more likely to lose fights. So, like, you can build this momentum of winning if you can trick yourself, right? Like, if you do a bunch of small tasks that are easy wins, like you get up in the morning, you make your bed. That's a
Mm-hmm.
fucking win. You go, you
Right.
brush your teeth, comb your hair, right? You trim your beard, shave your neck
Shower.
beard.
Yep.
Boom. That's a win. You
Yeah.
win. You're starting momentum for the day. You get your workout in. Boom. You know, by 6:30, 7 o'clock, you could have you 5 or 6 wins done and logged before you're finished with breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And breakfast itself could be another win because you ate your fucking eggs and bacon.
Right.
You haven't even started work and you're already like 10 wins deep.
It's another thing I talk about in my book. I'm telling you, I was sitting there. My PTSD was at the fucking all-time high. I was crazy depressed, right? All I could do was just sit in fucking bed, dude. And something changed in me where I was just like, you know what? I need to fucking start waking up earlier.
Mm.
So I'd wake up and I'd be like, man, I'm fucking so tired. I just want to go back to bed. Like, life sucks, all this other stuff. And then I'd go back to bed. And I'd be like, man, fuck, that sucks. Like, that doesn't feel good, right? It feels like a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to get up and I need to make my bed. Because if I make my bed, I'm not going to go lay back in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up and I started making my bed. And I became addicted to making my bed. I got addicted to waking up and then making my bed. And then, believe it or not, soon enough, that turned into getting up and doing the dishes. I was like, well, I'm awake. What am I going to do with my life right now? I was like, oh shit, I could clean the kitchen. All right, so I got up, I made my bed, and I fucking cleaned the kitchen.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I just started fucking cleaning up my space. And I started having these small victories. And then what did it lead into? It led into getting into jiu-jitsu. It started going back to the gym. It started tailoring my diet. Then it started turning into going to school and making fucking money because I get the GI Bill from that. And then doing well in school. And then getting accepted to Berkeley and UCSD with a 3.9 GPA. And, you know, all this, dude, like, again, yes, it's a fucking snowball effect. And a lot of people don't realize that that's how it works, right? You can just take, like, small victories, dude, small fucking victories. That's it. That's all you need. Yep. Small victories win the fucking war. But people will sit there and they'll look at the war from the spot that they're in right now, right? Yep. They'll look up at the top of the mountain. They'll be like, I'll never fucking get there. But you know how every single person has ever fucking got to the top of a mountain?
One step at a time.
One fucking step at a time, dude. You know? So that's, I mean, really what it comes down to. All of these titles that we're talking about right now, what it comes down to is fucking masculinity, right? These traits that you and I are discussing right now, everything we've talked about today is what makes up the fucking male, a man. Mm-hmm. Everything we talked about today. And to be honest with you, this is what I don't like seeing, because a lot of people are at each other right now. We started this conversation talking about how, you know, we should talk about MGTOW, monk mode and incel and PUAs, because everyone's kind of fucking infighting right now. And this infighting bullshit, to be honest with you guys, is exactly what fucking women do. Unfortunately, these are uninitiated males that are fucking pretending to be men that are fighting for their little space, their little, I'm in control of this space, so I can't fucking give in. And the one thing that I can't stand to see is, because I don't know if we're going to be able to save society, but I do know that we are going to be able to save life. And John and you and I have talked about this, I believe, on our last podcast. The option may not be to save this culture. It may be to stand up and start our own. But the thing is, in order to do that, we need to re-register the fact that masculinity is the thing that saves lives and continues to grow happy lives, right? And that's what we need to do. We need to stop this bullshit infighting. You know, I hate to be the leveler here, like, hey guys, we need to stop this. But what we do need to do is we need to come together and realize, hey, we all believe the same stuff. Okay, maybe our direction of how we want to take it isn't exactly aligned, but we do need to stop this infighting bullshit, and we need to fucking fly under the same banner, and that needs to be the banner of fucking masculinity. We need to come together, and we need to start figuring out ways to all start to get together and share the fucking positive growth aspects of what we need to share and encourage that over this. I'm just going to get on the fucking internet and cry about being a victim and all this other stuff, because unfortunately, that's what women do. That is what women do. We need to shift that. If we want better lives, which is essentially what people are trying to do, if we want to find happiness, we need to start pointing to the solutions, and we need to be building each other up rather than fucking sitting there and tearing each other down. Good yawn, bro.
Man.
What do we do? How do we do it?
Just focus on getting better, man. Everybody just needs to level up all the time. You're not growing, you're dying.
Absolutely. This is where I want to come in with the solution. I had an epiphany just recently. Women, I went to a fucking public speaking transformation, not boot camp, like a seminar, a summit, transformational speaker summit, just recently. And, I've been in the health and fitness and personal growth and development community. And the thing that I'm seeing is that women are fucking crushing it. It drives me crazy, because all these things that I go to are these, yes, you go girl fucking types of events of like fucking female empowerment. All women do, whenever women want to become an individualized woman and kind of grow in it, all she does is say that I'm going to help women. That's what she says, right? Every woman serves women. It's crazy. And they end up creating these events, and they're really, really good, because women will go to that stuff in order to feel good about themselves, right? This whole yes girl kind of fucking thing. And there's not a lot of men in those spaces. I get it. It feels fucking like foo-foo and wooey and all this other bullshit. But the thing is, women are beating us in the fucking culture war because they're far better at organizing. Look at the fucking Pussy Hat March. Look at all this other bullshit. Women can literally amass a fucking social movement so quickly because women are so willing to pull money out of their pocketbooks and go and buy a ticket and go and sit there in order to fucking feel empowered. Men, on the other hand, what do? We sit on the fucking internet, fucking jerking off to porn and playing video games and, hiding in fucking Reddit saying our piece. But the thing is, seriously, guys, what we really need to do is we need to fucking reinvent male spaces. And I can't think of a better way than to actually start a fucking convention, an all male convention. I want to call it fucking War Tribe, because what's the real reason and what's the true thing that get people back, men, to really start to rally again? And that's war. A lot of people in our culture today are sitting here saying that war is bad and violence is bad and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not advocating for violence whatsoever, so, there's my disclaimer there. But what I am saying is we need to figure out a way, and we need to figure out a way to push back against this culture war and fight it on a cultural level. And that's bringing masculinity back. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, I could give a fuck about saving the West and our systems right now, but what I do care about is at least setting up a fucking community and a tribe that if shit did hit the fan, at least I got my fucking boys. At least we got things set up, and we'd have some women in there too. But like, at least we got this group of dudes that are all on the same page and are willing to fucking make changes in their lives and also impact society through just being the best versions of themselves. That's all. That's my thought process on it. I want it to work. The thing is, it's hard, man. It's hard to fucking organize men. A lot of guys are going to sit there. We're skeptical at nature. We're skeptical by nature. We're skeptical about, like, I'm sure when I first...
skeptical by nature, and a lot of guys have been raised on the idea that, just do what the women say, and that's going to get you what you want.
We're also being raised, too, to believe that men getting together in groups is gay. Subconsciously, there's this fucking gay shaming that, oh, what are you going to do? Like, there's no women there. Like, I'm guilty of that shit before, too. When people would invite me to a party, the first question I would ask is, like, are there going to be chicks there? I mean, of course, because I'm looking to go fucking smash. But, the thing is, we're kind of uncomfortable now in the world today of saying, I'm going to go hang out with just men. We've kind of been brought up to believe, like, in order for it to be a good time, in order for it to not be against our ego, there has to be women there. And the problem is, when there's women in a space with men, men are ultimately going to start competing against one another. I saw this in the military. That's how it works, right? Your brain switches, right? The second a woman is there, we're automatically going to start tearing down one another in order to try to fucking compete and see who can get that first. It's biology. But when we remove women from a space, men are able to actually sit there and bond and build. How do you feel about that statement?
Which statement? What was the last statement?
I was talking about how when women are in a space with men end up competing against each other. But when women are
true. Man, yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's this weird thing. Like, I feel like all these male spaces have been infiltrated over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't think of a place where I can go to that's not just full of women, and not just full of women, but women like directing things and running things. And, you don't go to the Monday Night Football party anymore at your buddy's house because it's his wife running it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I just saw a tweet also. It was from this one woman. I guess TwitchCon is going on. I don't even know what that is. But it's this girl.
Twitch is what they use to stream and watch video games a lot.
Right. Yeah. So they're having a TwitchCon, I guess, which is just a fucking conference to get all these people together. And this one girl put out a fucking statement saying and addressing these guys, which I'm sure most of these people are fucking beta. Telling and highlighting men how to act around women at TwitchCon. If a woman is alone getting on an elevator, just wait and don't go on the elevator with her. Don't walk up.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
I'm not kidding you.
If you don't feel comfortable there, don't go there. Like, you don't get to walk into any human being. You don't just get to walk into a space and they already do shit, and you're just like, oh no. We're gonna do all of this different. Everybody stop. You're gonna change what you're doing to fit what I want. Like, right. I don't understand that. Why? Well, who thinks that way?
The other part is,
I'm gonna walk into this conference. Oh, I don't like the way these people are dressing or acting. Right. I'm gonna make everything change. It's such an authoritarian, fucking.
Well, and nuts. That's what happens when you empower women and leave them. Without,
I mean, I see it because that's the stuff I hear about, workspaces or Gamergate or all that stuff. It's like, right. Women enter the men's space. Right. Oh my God, I can't believe they're like this.
Yeah, and then
they have to change.
Right.
What? How about you go somewhere else? Go do your own way somewhere else.
Right. Go start up your own fucking company if you don't like it and hire just women. I'm cool with that. Listen, I am all about fucking segregation in that aspect. Right ahead. Like, yeah, dude, it's a free fucking market. Like, if you want to start a business and it's just fucking women working for your company, awesome. If you provide a better product than any other fucking company out there, you deserve to fucking flourish. If it doesn't work out though, however, you can't sit there and fucking cry sexism. You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. You made your choices, now fucking kind of lay in it.
Wow.
Absolutely. Dude, it's also the same thing that it's happening everywhere. Women are doing their best right now in order to curtail and control men's sexual behavior. I don't know if you saw the recent headline, but a 5-year-old autistic boy in the UK was just put on the fucking sex offender fucking list.
The UK
oh God, dude. I'm so glad I don't live there. I mean, America's bad right now, but the UK is fucking awful.
America's the best place in the world just because of the freedom of speech.
Just because we have this constitution.
No
exactly.
Have it. Yeah,
exactly.
No one else has the constitution we have.
Agreed.
Couldn't do that to somebody here.
Could you imagine that? Oh my God. Another thing I saw that happened out of the UK is a man who identifies as a pickup artist and was streaming his pickup stuff online, just got put in a fucking jail. He got put in a jail for fucking making women feel uncomfortable. Can you imagine having a law like that in a fucking free society? Like, You made that woman feel uncomfortable, so therefore
He
you need
should
to go
have.
to
He
jail.
should have. He should have identified as a woman. I am a woman.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't feel
man.
uncomfortable. I mean, yeah. You got to
Crazy.
play by their rules. They're trying to flip these rules upside down and start playing by theirs.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I guess that's the way. That's the way to fucking go about it. But, at the same token, this could be some munitions for people in the incel world and MGTOW world to be like, see, Corey, like, see, John,
See, yeah.
like, I'm not going to expose myself to this stuff. I'm not going to go through the divorce court and all. Okay, cool. I'm not telling you to get married. I'm not telling you to get married.
I'm not telling you to get married either.
I'm anti-marriage. Fight the fucking
I'm
system by not getting
anti-marriage,
married.
but I think pair bonding is very good. I think the state needs to stay out of people's relationships.
Yep.
And as long as it's rigged against men the way it is, it's not worth getting into. Don't get married.
Absolutely.
Having kids is awesome.
Dude, I'll tell you one other case too. I've had this happen to me a couple times so far. I don't know if you know Tinder and Bumble. It's pretty much the same company now, but it's run by feminists. And the app is completely controlled by feminist fucking, doctrine in a way. I'm not on Tinder anymore because I got fucking kicked off of Tinder. Now, yeah, crazy. Paid $150 gold. I was crushing it on Tinder too, by the way. And I had one moment where I was talking to this one fucking snooty ass girl and she called me a fuckboy. And I was like, oh, fuck that. What I responded with was something along the lines of like, coming from a fat cum dumpster who gets trains run on it, or coming from a fat cum dumpster who probably fucks an entire football team in a week. I'm something, I ended it that way. Ended up getting fucking reported for saying that to her. And I ended up getting kicked off, like blocked, like removed from Tinder from that one exchange. Now, all right, I'm not advocating talking to women like that because, and it's not to say that you shouldn't. What I'm saying is don't allow women to get you off your emotional rocker, right? Off your emotional center. And that probably could be registered as her kind of like getting under my skin a little bit, but I felt the need to fire back. I'm not perfect. I fire back every a little while. LOL, dude, it's a little understandable why you got kicked off. Why? Tell me why that's something that's good for me to get kicked off, having one exchange and getting mad at somebody. Like this is serving the female fucking primary directive, is that men are not allowed to be critical of women. Men are not allowed anymore to say anything critical of women. And that's what YouTube is starting to block, is that men no longer are able to have a voice and actually draw boundaries with women. How come it's okay for a woman in her profile to say no fuck boys, please, and come up with these terms, shaming men and labeling men with being fucking sluts, but then they can sit there and be, go and march at the slut walk, right? Like, it doesn't fucking make sense. So if a girl is going to sit there and fucking call me a name, it's only fair that she's broached that fucking line, right? And that I can also call her names as well. Now, the next thing that I want to bring up is, like, I just got a fucking warning. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but I just got a warning on Bumble because, what does it fucking say, dude? It's so, you're being moderated. So I was talking to this girl yesterday who I actually know. It's kind of a funny thing. I was talking to her, and the only thing that I said that might have that pissed her off was like, she's like, you need to take me out to dinner. And I said, why don't you cook for me? And she ends up fucking blocking me and reporting me. And I got a fucking warning from Bumble for saying to her,
cook for me?
Huh?
Why don't you cook for me?
Yes.
It's wild.
Insane, dude. It's insane. Like, the fact that you can be like, okay, so I paid $150 for Tinder. I didn't fucking really break any of the rule. Like, I'm not harassing. I'm not sexually assaulting. I am not fucking doing any of this stuff. We just had an exchange where I said something negative to a woman. Does that mean that I should be fucking kicked off of that platform? Does it mean that I should just lose all my money and not be able to fucking engage in online dating? Same thing with Bumble. Like, these women that are running this stuff, it is social tyranny. It's the fact of like if you,
I gotta do devil's advocate
let's hear it.
because I understand from a business perspective, if you don't completely bow down and keep the women happy and the women you lose the women from your site, then all the men go too. So
I
then they're out of money.
again though, John.
So
So
you got to
I
as
think
a
that
business they got to placate to the female
I
in order
disagree.
to keep them there.
I think you underestimate how much attention women get from that, and no amount of attention, whether it be positive or negative, is going to stop them from fucking going on to something that gives them that dopamine drip.
Mm.
I don't think women will ever forego fucking online dating because it is literally their means of having fucking social value. I get it. I get blocking someone. If you're being sent messages over and over and over and you're getting fucking dick pics from this one dude and he's fucking like harassing, like literal harassment. Like if you didn't draw a fucking firm boundary and say, "Hey, listen, like this is not cool," or just ignore them or whatever, and you keep doing that, awesome. There should be some kind of means or method to be able to like look at the conversation and be like, yo, that guy is for sure fucking whatever. All right, blocked. Take him off, right? He's doing it habitually to other people, crazy people. But to sit there and take one instance where I didn't even fucking harass or assault or anything. I just had an exchange. She called me a fuckboy. I called her a cum dumpster. Like, hey, what's up, bitch? Like, all right, you want to play games here. But the problem in our society today is this. Men are not allowed to do that. We are not like, people are not allowed to have anything critical or have any actual retort back to women if it's not something positive. And if you look at it, that's the way that people react to everything today. Men are cucked in a way to believe that we need to treat girls with kids' gloves. That you can't sit there and be like, listen, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you're acting like a fucking slut. Or you are a whore. Like, these are common phrases that were in our fucking vocabulary before for a means to shame women into certain behaviors that are fucking better for their health and the overall health of a society. Right? But we've had that removed. And the fact that men can receive punishments right now like that of being removed from platforms just based off of one instance, that's fucked up in my opinion. That in my mind, that's no rights of free speech, and that is called social fucking tyranny. Like, you have a fucking king or a queen. Well, you know, at the same time, dude, so Enigmatic Elephant says, I agree with you, Corey. It's just too harsh for most people to handle. Dude, fucking nature is harsh. Life is harsh. We cannot be going around bubble wrapping every single fucking conversation, every single fucking coffee table corner. We can't be going around and making guns not kill things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to get back to a mindset and understanding that, like, life cannot be comfortable 100% of the time. It can't be. Sometimes people are going to say shit to you, and it's for your best interest, and it's going to come off as fucked up. It's not going to feel nice. But the fact of the matter is, what I delivered to that woman was probably true, right? Her calling me a fuckboy, thinking she can get away with it because she's not going to have any fucking punishment for it, doesn't mean that she shouldn't have it doesn't mean she shouldn't have the consequences of someone firing back at her and fucking also pointing out some fucking truths in her life. What do you think about that, John?
Yeah, man, it is. It feels a little bit wrong, but you're right. You know, it feels kind of wrong. Like, oh, we're not supposed to say those things. We're not supposed to do these things.
Right.
It doesn't feel that you should be able to talk back to a girl like that and say something mean to a girl when, you know, why wouldn't you? You should be able to.
Your headphones unplugged?
No, I just put a post up real quick. I was doing this.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, but you're right. Like, why wouldn't you be able to talk to a girl in the exact same way you talk to a guy? If a guy said something, why wouldn't you be able to say the exact same thing back to him? And I feel like you probably would be able to say, you know, if a guy called you a dick, you'd probably be able to call him a dick back. But yeah, the second that you retaliate, even in verbal form, to the girl who is already rude, it seems like, yeah, you are I can't believe you would say that to a girl. She's a woman. How would
Right.
you dare say that to a woman? It's kind of like with the far leftists propping up children to push political points.
Right.
It's like, how dare you say that to a child?
16-year-old girl, exactly.
You
You know,
know, well, how dare you say that to a woman? Well, you're supposed to be treating them. It's like some equal sometimes, but not when it's convenient.
right, yeah, and that's what I'm saying right now is that there are double standards in nature, but when it comes to the law, when it comes to justice, there cannot be double standards. And this goes back to the fucking Brooke Richardson case that we were talking about last week. You know, when you and I sat there and talked about it, it's like, yo, this woman committed murder. She's a woman, she's 18 years old, and she committed murder. She should be in jail. But then there's a part of us that's like, oh my goodness, like, fuck, can you imagine putting this fucking young little fucking cute 18-year-old blonde girl in jail? Like, it
Part of
just
that
doesn't
is
sit right. And that's something that we need to
part of it's
condition out of us, dude. It's
Yeah,
conditioning.
that's well, it's not. I don't think it's conditioning. I think it's part of our ancestral bond to the past. Like you
Let's hear it.
needed women to have the children.
Right.
If we needed the next generation, that was a part of us surviving and living was more children. We needed the next generation to come through and be able to take care of us and help with the hunts. So, you probably had a lot of crazy women in the past that were kept up, put up with because they were still a vessel for having children.
Right.
Like that's the thing. It's the major difference between men and women is like a woman is inherently valuable just because
She's a woman.
she's a woman and can have children,
Right.
whereas a man isn't. We're a dime a dozen. One guy can do the same job as 1,000 dudes.
Yeah. We're Jeeps. We're Jeeps and women are exotic cars. Plain and
Mhm.
simple.
We're not
Shit.
even the exotic car. We're the tires. There.
That's what I'm saying. We're Jeeps, dude. We're
Oh.
fucking utility vehicles. You beat us up, we're fucking dime a dozen. Like there's some nice Jeeps out there and there's some shitty Jeeps out there. It doesn't matter. They spread out all over. But women are exotic cars. Like men look at that and they're like, awesome. That's beauty. I want that kind of thing. Whereas Jeeps are just like, meh, all right. Anyway, dude, I'm fucking starving. I need to take a piss. So I'm at a point right now where, hey, I might actually hop on if fucking John is doing dude party, I might hop on there for a few minutes. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got to get prepped. My parents are coming in today.
Oh yeah, rock and roll.
Boys back. So
With that said, gentlemen,
stuff.
we just brought up John. Modern Life Dating Body Language Mastery course is now available. You only have until October 1st, I believe, to actually get involved on that.
It's available now.
Yep, it's available now. If you're interested in doing this, please do click the link below in the description or go to Modern Life Dating / or / I don't remember / body language in order for you to get access to that. If you're having trouble with the online dating world, gentlemen, I have an online dating mastery course that will get you from zero to hero in the online dating world in no time. Please do click the link below for that as well. Last but not least, I would love for you, if you're having trouble building frame in your life and making you the mental point of origin, please do purchase my book as well. It's Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. It is the fucking anthem. The anthem in order to get you to become the fucking man that you want to be by making yourself the fucking focus of your life. Everything that John and I talked about today is in that book. Also, well, that's about all I got. No, you know what? Give me a follow too. I'm growing on Twitter right now. I enjoy it. I love being on Twitter. So if you don't mind, give me a follow on Twitter at Corey Capella. Excuse me. John, what do you got for us?
My book, Failing Upward Death by Ego, available on Amazon. I got live streams most days on the weekday. Official John Fitch on my YouTube. Me and my buddy Chris Tinkle, Fitch and Tinkle Smash Everything. It's our podcast. We do a lot of fun stuff on there. JohnFitch.net on Twitter. John Fitch Smash on Instagram. Check out my blogs and stuff. I'm going to be redoing my website, so there'll be some changes coming up here beginning of the month. Check it out.
Excellent.
November 2nd, I'm going to be down in San Diego. For a seminar. Fitch
Cool.
Smash.
It's official. gonna have to check it out, buddy. All right, gentlemen. Hey, if you like this show, please do leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe as well. That's only going to help us out. And if you feel the fucking need to, and if you're pretty cool, go visit Jon at Patreon. You can visit myself at Patreon as well. Or you could click the links below to donate to either one of us directly. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for our next episode of Red Pill Smash Brothers. Until then, see ya.